Driving traffic to a website is a challenge, especially if you have a new website and you are a small business. In this video, we will be sharing 10 ways you can increase your traffic to the website without harming any other traffic that you have been getting. Have you invested time and effort into developing a new website and now no one is coming to your website? Or have you been getting just the same number of people for months upon months and it is not going anywhere? Or even if you have been successful with the ways that you have been trying so far, do you want to take it to the next level? The good news is getting your first person on the website and getting your 10,000 person on the website is the same process. And in both these cases, it is crucial that you keep growing. Saying all that, here are our 10 suggestions for increasing traffic to your website.
Before we do that, Taz, one of the first things when I was in the police force, I created a new website, scalearts.com, and I knew nothing about digital marketing because I was in the police force, and I went to an agency to create a website, and I thought as soon as it was made, it was going to get traffic onto the website, to the point I created and made products, printed products, spent probably about £3,000-4,000 thinking there was going to be a line of people buying. Was there? There was not. Number one, make sure your site is responsive. We live in a multi-screen society. Because of this, it's important that your website is fit for different devices, where it works on mobile phones, iPads, as well as your laptops, of course. Depending on your industry, some people will look on their mobile phones than laptops. As a rule of thumb, before you bring people onto your websites, it is important you test your website on different devices because it takes a lot of effort in the first place to bring them onto your website. All in all, it's important that you think about the user experience and that your visitors are able to find what they're looking for easily. A website is like a shop front. It will reflect your brand and the quality that you deliver. Since 2015, Google has put an emphasis on the user experience for your SEO. So you're killing two birds with one stone.
Be fair is good to see. Until very recently, you had to make different versions of your website for different devices. We have moved past that, so it's not as difficult anymore to have a responsive website. Number two, search engine optimization and guest blogging. Start by confirming your keywords. You can use tools such as Ahrefs or Google Ad Planner, and then you start optimizing your website for these keywords. If you're not sure how to do this, we made another video where we talked about SEO blogging, how to rank on Google. Hopefully that is useful for you as well. The one thing we did not cover extensively in that video is guest blogging. It is your way to show to Google that you are connected with other businesses locally and that you are a credible source of knowledge. And not just helping with SEO, doing guest blogs can actually bring people to your website. It is not just about people clicking through the other websites, but because when someone shares this content on social media, for example, people will check who you are, people will check your website, and the conversations can move from there.
Number three, get social. With so many people creating content, it's not enough to produce content such as blogs and hoping someone will read it. So this is where you've got to be proactive. And in today's world, with so many people going onto social media, such as Facebook and LinkedIn, this is a great environment for you to get your content out there. Once you've created your content, you'll be thinking where you're going to put it. If you're B2C heavy, you may consider something like Facebook or Instagram, whereas if you're B2B, then it could be LinkedIn. You need to actively participate with your community. It's like going to a networking event. If someone says hello, you're going to respond. If they're going to have a conversation, you're going to hear them and respond in some way. Whereas it could be rude if you say nothing. So when people leave a comment or they DM you, do reply. Just make sure that you use social media in its way that it was created. So if you use it as a broadcasting system, it's going to turn people off.
Number four, advertise. Paid search, social media marketing, and display advertising are still all excellent ways to get more people onto your website. Each paid channel has its own pros and cons. So before you start spending money, don't waste your money and have a think about how you are going to spend it. Here are 6 considerations that you should make. First, plan a roadmap. You should know exactly who you are targeting, what are the KPIs you are going to measure, how are you going to then look at it as a success, how much is it going to cost in terms of each click, how much are you willing to spend for each click, and what is the conversion rate at the end of it. Second, once you have the roadmap, then you can plan your budget. Depending on the industry, this can vary a lot. For example, If you want to market our digital marketing services and put an ad in London, it can cost more than £40 for just one click. In Leicester, it's less than 20, but in both cases, it's just too expensive. So we need to look at other ways of marketing ourselves. Third, work on your copy. It's not enough to just put out something and hope that it will bring you the sales or it will bring people to your website.
Taz, what about the time that we tested the copy on Google Ads?
That was actually quite different. What we were doing was, when we were designing a new website, instead of just putting words out there and hoping that it will get us the results, we put 4 or 5 different variations of the same thing but using different words. And there was a difference. It took away all the guesswork by putting a bit of money in Google Ads. Fourth, build an effective landing page. The number of times I've seen people that they create an ad, you click on that ad, and the landing page looks completely different. It has different language, sometimes even the wrong products. They haven't even put thought into what people should expect afterwards. I also suggest keeping an eye on the bounce rate. When people click on that ad, how long do they stay on that page? When do they leave? Do they actually fill what you wanted them to fill? A tool that you can use here is Hotjar. It will give you visual representations of where people have been clicking and where do they click off.
Taz, I remember when we first started a couple of the projects, we didn't actually know what people were going to look for. So you could put some thought on what they're going to have, but this is where Hotjar really helps, because you've got to keep looking at the data and understand what needs to be on your landing page. So pretty much your landing page needs to keep evolving until you know what needs to be on there.
To be fair, if you run the same ad for a long time, people get bored out of it. It's going to be shown to the same people. Sometimes you need to tweak it a bit here and there depending on how the market is going. So again, all the guesswork is taken care of if you're using a tool like Hotjar. Again, not paid. And fifth, spread your budget. The number of times we have seen people where they have seen a friend of theirs who has had success on, let's say, Instagram or a Google ad, and they start doing exactly the same thing. Ideally, you want to pick 3 to 5 different platforms and then track your data. You will find that a couple of them will perform better than the others. So there's no point in just putting all your money in one place, wasting it, and then giving up on it completely.
Number 5, email marketing. Some digital marketing companies love to experiment new strategies and they forget about the old that works. Sometimes even flyering works in some industries. Email marketing still works, but it's about the execution. So if you're spamming, don't do it. Today there's tools as Zoho for your CRM system, and it's about segmenting your data. And you want to be sending emails to the right audience, and you can do this through segmentation.
Haven't you started doing email marketing with the people who are more engaged with you on LinkedIn? How is that going?
Yeah, that went really well. It's an idea that I had, and those people that were engaging on my post just simply said, I'm creating a personal blog. Do you want me to email it out? And most of them said yeah.
Number 6, foster a sense of community. It is part of human nature. We want to express ourselves. We want to talk about things. And the same is true for your business. If you create a sense of community around the content that you produce, around the products and services that you are selling, people will engage more with it on social media, for example. And as a result, you will get more traffic to your website as well.
Taz, I'm going to bring in Volta Blue at this point because we've created a community of over 1,000 individuals that have come through. What does it take to bring a community together?
Do I answer that now? Or okay. To begin with, you need to have shared values, because the community started on the basis that people who have different experiences, they can come together and share that experience. But there's also a sense of shared experience. We started Volta Blue at the beginning of the pandemic. At the beginning of the pandemic, we were not clear about how networking will go forward, how will relationship building go forward. We were there at the right time with the right solution. And I think that's why it has taken off. And that's why people stick around, because they now feel attached to it. To be fair, across business, it is quite rare that someone comes across your product or services the first time around and they decide to buy there and then. Maybe for products, it happens more regularly. But for services, for B2B businesses, you need to have a sense of connectivity with the business. You need to have an understanding of what they are all about before you actually go and spend your money on them. So fostering a sense of community is more important. It's important in more than one way, to be fair.
Number 7, examine your analytics. Google Analytics is an invaluable source of information and data of visitors coming to your website. And this could be from how long they've spent on your website, as well as the particular pages. But interesting enough, the order that they go in. And this brings me nicely onto the next point, which is make sure you look at the data to understand your audience of their behaviors of when they're going from A to B. As Taz mentioned earlier about Hotjar, it's a great tool to bring your analytics and understand your data. Hotjar gives you a heat map as well as recordings of visitors live on your website.
Number 8, incorporate video into your content strategy. Text-based content is all well and good. Content has always been king, and now with options such as video becoming more common with websites, you can not only bring people to your website, but also keep them engaged for longer. Even from a psychology perspective, retaining information in visual forms is far higher than written content. In addition, if you are using a video strategy where you are integrating your content into a platform, for example, YouTube, as we are doing at the moment, where the content shelf life is far longer, you will not just bring traffic in the short term, but you also increase your chances of being found later on in your business.
Number 9, research the competition. The first point is it's important to remain true to your strength as well as your USP, but it's important to know your opponent. We could bring out a quote from The Art of War, which suggests it's really important to know this so you know what you're up against. As I was talking about data earlier on, it's important to understand your competitors as well as their audience. There are multiple sites where you can analyze this data, for example, BuzzSumo. Here, you'll be able to bring data from different social media platforms and bring them together so it's easier to see the bigger picture.
And finally, number 10, host events. Even though the business world, like the rest of the world, is becoming more digital, people are going more online, but networking is still key. Meeting people is still key, and people like to do it in different forms. Events is one of those. We have previously done 2 videos on why you should be doing free events especially, and how can you bring more people to your events. All in all, while doing your events, if you have an effective social media marketing strategy, if you are sending out the invites in due time, if you are making the events interesting, that can bring a lot more traffic continuously for your business.
Taz, one of the things that some people may think that events has to be grand and big. I remember last year when we hosted some events at the Novotel Hotel in Leicester, we also went to Nottingham and the maximum size was 6. What's the point?
To be fair, again, it was special circumstances, but it basically pushed us in a different form of testing. And we realized that actually it works better. As long as the people have something in common, as long as they share their values, as long as they are at a similar size of business, we have seen that events at any size can be effective for your business. At the end, it's important to clarify that you should not go and try out everything at the same time. I suggest picking one of these tactics or maybe 2 or 3 of these tactics, test them out, perfect them, and then move from there. Remember, a good digital marketing strategy or even a simple marketing strategy has short, mid-term and long-term goals that you should work towards. If you have a new website and you want to bring 100,000 people in the first month, you need to count down a bit and look at your numbers again. At the end of all this effort, good luck with your website traffic.
Hi, I'm Harmeet Singh.
And I'm Taseer Ahmad. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Connect with us on LinkedIn if you would like to know more, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.